Time travel. The amount of shows, especially anime, that focus on time travel seems to have skyrocketed recently. And I won't lie, they're all bangers. ReZero, Tokyo Revengers, Vivi, Summertime Render, redo of... Oh god. But one time travel show that I've slept on for 18 months now is LinkClick. Or
时光代理人
It's about two dudes, Chung Xiaoshi and Lu Guang. A pair that probably has way too much yaoi fan art on certain sites. The two run an antique photo store, taking and processing vintage photos, alongside their business partner, Chao Ling, who probably has also way too much fan art on other sites. In that same store, they also have a side hustle, finding out things and investigating stuff in old photos, making use of their unique abilities. Lu Guang could see everything that happened in a photo within 12 hours of it being taken, whilst Chung Xiaoshi can travel back in time to take control of whoever took that photo. Now there's two things that sets LinkClick apart from these other time travel shows. First, the main characters aren't in high school, or middle school for Tokyo Revengers. Seriously, what the f? But secondly, where in most of these other shows time travel exists for the main characters to change the past in order to fix the future, LinkClick is different. One of the rules between the two when going back is not to change the past, no matter what. And although this sounds like a simple rule to follow, some of the photos that they find themselves going into are completely heartbreaking. And they need to relive these memories, making the exact same decisions that the photographers did, knowing the outcome of what the choices will be, fully knowing that every action they make during this time is what leads to their lives falling apart, and that they still need to make them. So of course, they changed them anyway. Nice. Thanks to the premise, each episode focuses on a different client, and therefore a different story. It's a workplace anime. No, it's a Yuri anime. No, it's a high school sports anime. Oh, I mean...
动画
And by God, as a battle shonen trash man, I would have never watched anything in these genres before, but somehow, through the short runtime of each 20-minute episode, I found myself completely 100% invested. Basketball? I hate sports. I'm not gonna... Never mind. Each episode makes you feel like Xiaoshi. You want him to change the past because you want everyone to come out at the end with a happy ending, even if you know they shouldn't. And whether or not he changes the past, they all end with a heart-wrenching reveal that you would normally expect at the end of whole other seasons of anime. Even though they actually end up changing the past a handful of times, problems don't end up magically being solved. In fact, they get worse. Every single client across the show has a regret of some kind, something they want the two boys to go back and change. When first introduced, a lot of the clients at face value deal with issues that seem minor, regretting things that are completely trivial, like turning a blind eye to petty theft, or not getting the recipe to some noodles, or losing a basketball game. But what the time travel powers allow for isn't an opportunity to undo that trauma. It's the chance to understand it, not just for the clients, but for us. We're not able to just see the moments that changed their lives, but we're also able to understand the reason they had such an impact, why these moments mean so much to them, and why it is they can't let them go. Although they can't change the past by going back in time, they can learn just enough from it in order to change the future instead. These other shows subscribe to the idea, by the way, subscribe to my channel please, that mistakes in the past are something to be changed. And as a show, there's no problem with this. It makes great content. Most of the time. But I think there's something so meaningful about seeing a show actually focus on how this isn't the case. Mistakes aren't something to try and go back to change. They're stepping stones to be used to pave the paths to our futures. To recreate a fight with a loved one that changed everything. To fail at the one thing that everything counted on. To not have enough courage to say the words we should have said. It's almost always harder to relive these memories than it is to experience them in the moment. Although the two boys travel back in time, their powers are only really useful if they let the past events be carried out the same way they were before. Because if they didn't, if they changed the past events, if they stopped them from making their choices, when going back to the present, everything they've learned in the past wouldn't apply anymore. They can't learn from it if it never happened. This isn't a show about changing the past, it's one about deciding your future. Your life's value, its happiness, it isn't determined by whether or not you made the right decisions. It's not even about how many wrong ones you may have made before. It's about what you've learned from them. You can't change anything. Because you don't have to change anything. Because it's not too late. As much as you might think your past has ruined your present, the future is still yours to decide.
动画